Hi, my name is Zoe. I am the Tipsy Psychic, and today we're going to talk about common familiar myths. In a previous video, I spoke about how to know if your pet is your familiar. Well, today I'm going to debunk some myths that you may have heard about familiars. Myth number 1. Your familiar must be a black cat. This is absolutely false. Your familiar does not need to be a black cat. It doesn't even need to be a cat. Your familiar can be any animal. And also, just to clarify, every black cat isn't a familiar, because a lot of people think that a black cat means familiar, means witchcraft. And actually, that's a huge problem for shelters, animal shelters, who are trying to get black cats adopted and find them homes. A lot of people see them as bad luck, and that's because of these stereotypes. So first of all, black cats are not bad luck. Let's just get that out of the way. And if you are not adopting a cat because they are black, well, that's kind of racist, or you're just really misinformed, like you don't know the truth, which is black cats are awesome, just like all cats. Number 2, your familiar can be any pet you choose. This is also bullshit, because we don't choose familiars. And you can't just go to a pet store or an animal shelter and point out, oh, that one's gonna be my familiar. I'll get that one. No, you don't do that. A familiar forms a very specific bond with you, and it's not something that you really choose. So you can have tons of pets in your house, and none of them could be a familiar. You can't just walk up to your gecko and say, hey you there, you're my familiar, let's do magic. Like, no, that's not how this works. If you want to know if your pet is your familiar, I've made a video on this, so make sure you check that out. I will link it somewhere. Familiars can also take the form of spirits and demons. They have different bonds, and there's so many different beliefs about them throughout the ages of witchcraft, like throughout history. They have come in so many different forms, and you'll see them depicted differently throughout pop culture, and usually it's very far from the truth, so please don't get your knowledge from pop culture about witchcraft. It's usually very wrong and very off. The third myth is that you can only have one familiar. Bullshit. You can have 7 familiars. You can have 10 familiars. As long as you have that bond, that familiar bond, and you know they're your familiars, you don't have to have just one, okay? I have friends who have like 3 familiars, and they each have a special role in her magical practice, and they work with her, alongside her, and that is freaking awesome. I have one familiar, but you don't even have to have a familiar to do magic, and you definitely don't have to have just one. So keep that in mind. There is not a limit like that, and a lot of people work with nature sprites and spirits, and a lot of animals are not even pets. Like, I have one friend who works with feral cats, and one of them has this amazing bond, and actually just shows up during ceremonies, like rituals outdoors, and is a part of that experience, and that is beautiful. Number 4, you can choose which animal it will be. This goes back to the idea of choosing. You cannot choose your familiar. And like I said, there isn't one type of familiar. You can't, it's not just cats, okay? So that's the common thought about this, is that, oh yeah, my cat is my familiar. No, that's not the truth. It can be a bird, it can be a lizard, it can be a snake. Get your guinea pig and see if you have that bond, but at the same time, like, don't expect it to be there. Number 5, a familiar must be with a pet that is loving and has a great personality. This is absolutely false. Personality doesn't matter. Think about what I said about those feral cats. You know, that feral cat that still helped her with her spell work when she would do it outside. This is a big deal, because it shows you that they don't have to be super loving and nice to help you out. And you know, it goes both ways. It's a bond, it's a connection. So it's not like they're not getting anything out of it either. You can have the grumpiest familiar and they will still assist you and they will still connect with you. So keep that in mind. Just because you don't feel like this extreme, like loving feeling towards them does not mean that they aren't that role, okay? You don't have to get along with them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have a familiar, I would love to hear about them in the comment section below. If you have any advice or any more myths you want to mention, or did you know about these things, please let me know in the comment section below. And please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to check out my other video on familiars to know if you do have a familiar in your household. Thanks, bye!